Welcome back to the M2M Podcast. The podcast with men. This week, we have the Golden Boys lineup, the standard. Pastor Daniel Atkins, student minister Joseph Falcioni, and the beautiful Patrick Dean. Welcome to the show.
Real quick, Matt, can you read the lyrics of the song of that intro that we just played? Could you pull those up?
It's not a song. It's just it's a royalty-free song. I don't know what
It's just canned music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can make some, though.
For those listening that might have not understood what was being said in the radio, I'm pretty sure it was Bump That, not any other alternative form.
Oh, I didn't know there was words.
Yeah.
You might need to roll that back.
Can we play it again?
Yeah.
Hold on.
Oh, I didn't.
Wow.
Sometimes you got to bump it, guys.
Yeah, you do. Exactly.
I hope that's all. Ooh. Yeah.
Don't turn the closed captions on for that one.
Goodness.
Man, we are rocking and rolling.
Yeah, bud.
Season 5, episode 5. What's on your mind? Thank you, all of the listeners who put in their questions and suggestions in the box.
The cup. It's just a cup.
Okay.
That's all it was.
Where is the cup located?
It's on the desk, like I promised it would be.
Which
It's
desk?
just a Taylor
On
Road
the front.
cup, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
With
It's just the same Taylor Road cup.
Because there's the other
yeah,
cups
it's just
there.
like the other cups are there.
Yeah.
To the one listener that came to me yesterday, and I told you just to put it in that cup.
Yeah.
I went out there and I didn't find it.
But
So I don't.
because it was a Taylor Road cup
Yeah.
sitting at the guest services desk.
Yes.
Where we put other Taylor Road cups.
Yeah. I said just pick one.
For people to come pick up and take with them.
Well, that's not where they.
There's
those
some
cups-
guests, there's some guests that got home with their souvenir Taylor Road cup.
How about
And there's this terrible question.
just email Joseph at taylorroad.org
Oh my God.
and whatever questions you had,
Who knows what that question was?
Joseph at taylorroad.org.
So I'm gonna change it up since we can't seem to get that suggestion box.
We can, guys. It was there.
There
It
is
was
a spot
suggestion
on
cup.
the Man-to-Man page where you
It was a suggestion
input
cup.
your suggestion.
There were multiple cups.
Yeah.
But the guests, they get cups when they come to the donuts thing.
Yeah. Unless they don't go to the
Was there a
donuts thing
sign
and
on the
walk
cup?
out there.
No.
You know.
I didn't say anything about a sign.
You got to trust the Holy Spirit.
He just walked by the desk and saw, oh, there's cups over there. I'll put those cups in. They can use a cup.
Oh man.
I don't see the problem.
If you don't want to use the email men@taylorroad.org or the form on the Connect Men page of the Taylor Road app, my next suggestion is to hand deliver your message to Daniel Atkins
No,
during
I-
Donuts with Daniel.
yeah. I wouldn't give it to me.
I would say.
I would not give it to me. Sunday is a very chaotic day for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I want them all to come to you.
We will never get them. I'm telling you right now. That's why
They'll be gone.
So we're on the same pace that we're at currently.
anybody that joins and they fill out the card, the deacon of the week, I'm like, you got to take that to Sarah-Lynn. You've got to do this because I don't give it to me.
Yeah.
We'll never know these people joined. We're going.
And we have new members meeting this man on Sunday mornings.
Amen.
Right after that.
Yeah. Which is fine. Like, I'm just not.
Compartmentalizing. He's got.
We're lucky. We're lucky. I even had a sermon ready.
Hey, after church, y'all come over here to Diabetes with Dan.
Diabetes.
We do have a pile of questions for this week.
Yeah, we do.
I think they're all mine.
There's a couple in there
But
that
I'm
aren't.
really hoping that I think we're gonna let Daniel draw this week. When he draws here, somehow we still don't manage to get any one of my questions.
I know.
No, at least we won't be getting Joseph's.
Yeah, mine are definitely not.
That's the.
Yep.
All right. Do I get the honors?
Draw one out and read it to
Those
us.
ones
Oh, okay. All right.
No, I'm going to do this one. That's just one I put in there.
Oh,
It's left over from last week.
You're narrowing it down. All right. Well,
All right, here's
it's
the one.
left over from last week.
Wait.
Oh no,
We're opening up two of them.
We're not. All right. I'm rejecting that one.
All right, I do think this is Patrick's. Ooh. All right, are we ready? What's the single biggest threat to the U.S. and the American church today? In parentheses, no Sunday school answers. So, just for clarification's sake, you're talking about a singular threat to both, not one for one, one
So
for
there are
the
two
other.
questions?
It can be one for one and one for the other.
Okay.
If you want to distinguish, if you've got one for both.
Okay. So it can be both and. Yeah. Good. Or either or.
So the question is, what is the biggest threat to
The single biggest threat to the U.S.
There's only one. There's only one biggest.
That's the only one that you can say.
It says the single biggest.
Right. But I don't know that we're all going to agree on it. So maybe what we should do is just fight to the death. We get everybody's out there.
Okay.
Mine's
Let's start with to the U.S.
The U.S. and the
Let's-
American church
Yes.
today.
Let's start
US.
with to the U.S.
The U.S.
Cap. Starting with the U.S. Single biggest threat. Diabetes.
It's done.
okay.
And the church.
Not,
Have you looked at Southern Baptists lately?
Not only are we the largest denomination, we're the largest denomination.
All right. So speaking of, we got a potluck coming. No, I'm just kidding.
When you wrote the question, did you mean like the government of the United States, or did you mean as people, or did you just mean in like
interpret it how you
know?
will.
I'm just curious. What
Yeah,
when you wrote it
interpret,
down,
like,
what did you mean? by that?
Typically, when I think about that, I'm thinking from a government standpoint.
Okay.
Like when you hear.
includes military, includes
Yeah.
all the okay.
Yeah, you hear all of the, oh, well, we're
includes
the
economy.
nation's going terribly,
Okay.
we're losing our way and all those things. So,
Okay.
so I'm just, what's that out there? I mean, like the United States is a nation, it's a country. So
Yes.
what's the biggest threat to the United States continuing on as the world superpower?
Okay. Oh, that's hard.
I'm asking ChatGPT.
Oh
real
my
quick.
gosh.
I just want to see what it says. Y'all go first.
Campbell, you got anything?
Oh, diabetes.
All right. So I'll go.
Okay,
And
go
I'll
for-
go with this caveat.
Okay.
My answer today was not my answer 3 or 4 weeks ago when I came up with the question.
Ooh. There's a bigger one.
Well, I do think that it's more indicative of our culture and problem and the way that we've seen the pendulum shift so quickly tells me that it's a bigger issue across our citizenry than I originally sort of thought. And that is freedom of expression.
So having the freedom of expression.
Having the controls of freedom of expression. And in the wake of Charlie Kirk, which we talked about last week, you've seen this happen in multiple ways. And I believe that there are consequences for your actions, and freely directive enterprises, businesses, whatever, have the right to hold you accountable for actions that go against the way that they want to operate. But you've seen, particularly from the right in the last 2 weeks,
Forgot we're on camera. So
you've had the general population respond to comments about Charlie Kirk, and there was a whole social media like trending storm where they were trying to track down anybody who said anything out of pocket. Like, and I don't agree with any of the stuff that was being said, but they were literally trying to track them down, find out where they work, and notify their employers.
Yeah.
Just so that they would be fired, that their lives would be turned upside down.
Cancel culture?
I mean, I just think that's how the right handles cancel culture. You know, they do their work, you know? They're putting in the work.
You're the only one not on camera. I am 120% in the boat with this guy right here. Because like it is a sticky issue in the sense that a business can decide to, you know, fire an employee for whatever reasons they deem necessary. But as a whole, like, what happens when that table gets turned on us as Christians? Mm-hmm. What happens when it's now illegal for me as the pastor of this church to have a biblical stance on sexual identity and biblical marriage?
I mean,
and
nobody said what these other people have said has been illegal.
no, what I'm saying is, what happens when it crosses that line and it becomes illegal?
Well, then we won't have the freedom of expression.
Right.
Yeah.
But we're on this slippery slope that's like, I don't like what you say, therefore you should be shut up.
Yeah.
When it was Voltaire, I think, said, I disagree. I'm putting this in my own terms. But he said, I wholeheartedly disagree with what you've said, but I will fight to the death for your freedom to say it and your ability to say it. So do I think Jimmy Kimmel, for example, do I think what he did and said was repulsive? Absolutely. But if we're going to live in a society, it's just like freedom of religion. You know, like I like freedom of religion as long as it's my religion. Mm-hmm. If you like freedom of religion, then you should be okay with every faith practice taking place in this country. Freedom of speech. Now, there again, it doesn't mean that you can freely
freedom of speech.
Right.
Nobody locked anybody up for what they said.
Right. But I think the implication, but that's what's being.
So your
that's
problem
what's
is not
being
necessarily with
argued
what just
with.
happened; it's what it could lead to.
Yeah.
is that what you're
It's
saying?
slippery, it's the slippery slope.
Okay, so
I
you're
think
saying
if
that
you go
it's
back 3 years ago, you would have had censorship. I mean, we even go back to the 2020 election. All right, we now have pretty convincing evidence that you had social media platforms working
convincing.
with
the Twitter files were
working directly with the government to censor political speech.
Yeah.
And there's no way to argue that that wasn't to influence an election, right? So the government says, well, we were trying to keep from these fake accounts influencing an election. So you were influencing the election in the other way, right? Like, so we already, like, we can see the inherent danger of that. And that was all from, right, the social medias and those groups were worried that if they didn't play along, they were going to be governed, which would affect their pocket.
But weren't they being governed by doing that?
There's,
This
but that's the, right. So this is the same thing now has flipped and turned, and the FCC commissioner comes out pretty publicly and says, I'm going to paraphrase, might get this wrong, but ABC better, parent company Disney better make the right decision or we'll make it for you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it started, I believe, I don't know the timeline exactly, but I thought it started with different affiliates saying, we're not going to carry this guy. I mean, he's tanking.
Okay. That's
Right.
Yeah.
And so the affiliates were saying, hey, you know what? That was the final straw. 250 plus affiliates around the country were like, we're not airing this. We're going to air something local.
I started this with, I have no problem with a freely operated enterprise making a decision that they think is best for there. But when the Federal Communications Commissioner makes that statement and insinuates, we're probably not stopping here.
It's the thought police, man.
It's the opposite way. And I'll even go back to this with Charlie Kirk. How many conservatives, Republicans or not, took issue with Donald Trump coming out the night of Charlie Kirk's death and making a statement blaming
The left, the radical left.
the radical left for causing the death with very little evidence of anything at that point.
Yeah. Well,
That's my issue. Like, yes, their words have consequences.
Yeah.
And just because we have freedom of speech, for example, doesn't mean you are freely able to say whatever you want to say.
Well, there's
within reason,
yeah,
right? There are boundaries to every freedom that we have. There are guardrails and
it is
boundaries.
a crime to say fire in a theater.
Yes. Do you know that from personal experience?
No, just because
You've
have
heard
a
things.
social media account.
You've heard things.
And-
But
Yeah.
at the same point, though, that this is something that has raised kind of a red flag in my own life, in my heart, my thinking, as I've watched all this transpire. Again, I do think it is that, yes, you're a business. You have every right. If you're losing money because of this guy or whatever, or his speech does not line up with your values. I mean, we're seeing this even with universities across the country. Like you're seeing professors being put on leave or, all these things because of their public response to the assassination. But when it becomes government, interference or influence in that, first of all, the government's too big.
Yeah.
And
So, but I also I don't want to just go, all right, because I think the government, at least currently, still derives its power from the people. So, and if my problem is that we've seen very blatantly over the last 5 to 6 years where both sides don't value freedom of expression.
Right.
They only value the freedom to express their opinion.
Yes.
And the same people that were ranting and raving about cancel culture 2-3 years ago
Are now.
were now in mass concert
Yeah.
working to deploy it. And the problem is that you can make any excuse you want, but revenge is basically a chemical drug in your brain, right? It releases oxytocin. So you get a hit when you're successful with revenge, and then you start to want more revenge.
Yeah.
And it's a dangerous, there's a reason why it's the First Amendment.
He was listening to a sermon I preached because I used that example in an illustration this summer. So thanks, Pat. Appreciate that.
So you'd say the rise of governmental influence in the freedom of expression and speech currently is the biggest threat to the United States of
He's
America.
coming back to that.
I'm just curious. I mean, I'm just curious.
I do.
Okay.
Do you think it has? Do you think it has a lot to do with who's in power?
Yeah,
Like, who's in the White House is gonna-
So I actually think that it's too easy to express yourself broadly today, and we've done a terrible job of raising a culture. You go back to the church on this, but families and everything else, we've done a terrible job of teaching people decorum, teaching people that you handle yourself according to the audience that you're in front of. And I know that it was all fervor for the right to watch Kash Patel go off the rails in a oversight committee hearing.
Yeah. He went off the rail.
But that's a problem. Right? Like, if y'all think it's going to get better when we keep celebrating that stuff, it ain't.
Right.
And the fact that you can't sit up there and handle yourself with decorum and those doesn't mean you have to accept everything that they're doing. Doesn't mean you have to accept the lies that are being pushed either way, but you can handle yourself better.
Yeah. Well, I
And,
think
more diplomatic. And we've just lost it.
Yeah, we have. We don't have any statesmen.
Well, we probably do. They're just not.
We do, but we blast them for not coming off the rails. And
Yeah. I mean, I think the problem like you have with Kash Patel or just any of those committee hearings, they've already done the committee hearing behind closed doors. So
This is all theater.
this is all theater. This is just for clicks, just to tell the public this is what we're
You think
all
they're
mad
back there
about.
drinking coffee together, chumming it up?
I know they are.
Chumming it up, and they're like, hey, all right,
Yeah,
let's go.
100%. Yeah, most of these people, only a few of them actually have problems with one another. Most of them are pretty cordial. And in the actual Senate committee hearings, as I understand, and I've talked to some people who have been in them in past in the past. They're like, that's a totally different environment in there than what happens out here. Out here is just theater for the camera. It's just a show. So
We've got to get you on the camera.
yeah, we're good. But I think I agree that it is definitely a big issue when you have governmental authorities, having influence on expression. I don't want to sound like I'm a
Go for it. You've started.
liberal or something like that.
Uh-oh.
No, I guess I'm going to kind of land more in the middle. And the middle, I say,
You got to pick a side, man. That's the world we live in.
that's
You
the
have to.
problem. The right has gone more right, and the left has gone more left. So it's like, yeah, I'm kind of just here in no man's land now. It's almost unreached people group. It's like we've been left behind. So it's like I want for people to be able to say what they want to say. I'm all for that, but I also understand maybe because of life choices that what you say can land you in trouble.
Yes. Yes.
So it doesn't, it gives you, you're not going to get arrested. Jimmy Kimmel or whoever, they're not going to get arrested for what they say. Now, they may get dinged in their career, they may have other things, but the government's influence on that, that's the issue, but I think that's been an issue long before now.
I think a lot of it's the fact that we are so deeply divided. Like and I said it jokingly, but it's true. You have to pick a side. Like there is no more middle ground in our culture. It is, you got to pick a side. You can't, if you're in the middle, you're weak. You don't have courage. You have, and we were talking about this before we went on I don't want to say the air because we're not on the air, but before we started recording, I'm seeing that like in the church. I don't remember if we talked about this last week or not, but I'm going to chew the same cud if I did. That there are pastor friends of mine texting me this week. I got people leaving my church because I didn't say Charlie Kirk's name. I've had experiences today. People mad because I did say Charlie Kirk's name. So it's like, what? Danged if you do, danged if you don't. You
Just bump it.
Play that again. But it's a, if you don't come out and just rake Jimmy Kimmel all over the coals, then you're a terrible person.
You're a leftist.
It's just like, okay. Remember when COVID happened? Y'all remember that?
Remind me.
It was crazy. But one of the things that I'll never forget, it was like early March when it was first starting to, you started hearing about it. And I went to Home Depot. And my wife, my precious, precious wife, begged me, pleaded with me to wear a mask. And this was before like masks were a thing. And I was like, I'm not wearing a mask. She's like, please do this for me. Okay. So I walk in Home Depot, I'm wearing a mask. And I got looked at. I was the only person in Home Depot wearing a mask. And I got looked at like I had 3 heads.
Yeah, you did have 3 heads. Crazy person.
2 weeks later, you go in there without a mask and they're looking at you the same way.
Mm-hmm. Well, and 2 weeks after that, you couldn't go in there.
Right. But what I'm saying is the thought shifted so quickly that I was the weirdo leftist for wearing a mask.
Yeah.
And now I'm the weirdo anti-vaxxer, all that, like patriot for not wearing a mask. And I think the same thing has happened, like Patrick has been pointing out, like, buddy, we can go one way about Facebook censorship and this, that, and the other, and they are taking away our rights, and then on a dime, when it's not working in our favor, then we're... So it's a weird, man. Freedom is a tricky thing, isn't it?
Does anybody have something else that they think's a bigger threat? Because I hear
Okay.
I hear yours, And
Let's move on.
but mine is not about, like the easy part is when the government locks you up, right? Like those are the ones where we go, whoa. But when the people in power get to control what's communicated, it'll be too late by the time they start locking people up, because they're going to have got everything they need.
Go read 1984.
Just go look at World War II or any other history. I mean,
initially I was thinking in my head, that even popped in my head. I was thinking like, oh, China, you know what I'm saying? Like something like that, I was thinking more economically, but yeah, I think you convinced me. Like the First Amendment is the First Amendment for a reason. It is the sole right that distinguishes us from almost every other country in the world, right? Yeah. And I think you make a great point. Like if that is removed in any way, it is going to eventually lead to the dismantlement of what we've built as a country and society. Mm-hmm. Like I think you're completely right. Even if our economy is doing poorly and things like that because of maybe Chinese influence or whatever it is, or we have wars over here, if our freedom of expression and religion and speech, just the whole First Amendment in general, in any way is corrupted, it's going to lead to the downfall of the country. I think you make a good point.
I do think
really
that the government has a responsibility, though. Good. Did y'all watch? I know you probably didn't. But they had a press conference the other day when Trump was in England. And it was the president and the prime minister of Great Britain. And a reporter, I don't know the background, the context, but a reporter asked the prime minister of Great Britain, about freedom of speech. And apparently there's some accusations of censorship going on and, the government and all this kind of stuff.
A lot of censorship.
And he was like, well, yeah, I mean, I'm going to censor pedophiles. I'm going to censor some of these things that are going on social media that are influencing teenagers to commit suicide. Mm-hmm. And so there is that fine balance of like the government does have a responsibility. Yeah. I think to
arrest Christians praying outside of schools.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what's going on over there.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, so I mean,
that's what's going on over there.
This is the examples that you just gave.
Boy, that came out of nowhere.
Those are you can't yell fire.
In a theater, or
there is.
I'm going to bomb whatever.
Protect.
Can't say bomb on a plane
from harm.
Really? What if my dad is a bombardier? Boom, 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 boom. Remember that movie? Meet the Parents.
Go ahead, Pat.
Great movie.
Patrick was in the middle of a very thought-provoking.
So, to yours, 3 weeks ago. To your China or everything else, I probably would have said AI.
Okay.
Specifically AGI or super general intelligence. Because I think the race to that and whatever that gets, if it works the way that it's supposed to. But since that point, I've had more and more run-ins with AI that I go, gosh, it's just not going to be that smart.
Can we just go back to the days where like drugs were the problem?
Yeah, Nancy Reagan.
Yeah, just say no to drugs.
This is your brain.
I mean, come on.
This is your brain on drugs.
Back?
Interesting. Do you know that there's been a study on the DARE program, the original DARE program that we all grew up with?
Oh, yeah. The talking car. Did y'all ever
had
read that?
harmful effects. Like more kids were introduced to drugs.
Well, yeah.
Than other alternatives.
There's a car talking, and I'm like, Did y'all ever have that?
I remember the car.
I don't think so.
Dude, that thing showed up at my elementary school.
Yeah.
And it got me interested.
I don't think they had a
That was my gateway.
I don't think they had a talking car. I think
it was talking.
Yeah.
It was a talking car.
Talking to
it was
you.
like Kit from Knight Rider.
Talking to you.
It was like, hello, kids. If you don't want to see this German Shepherd running at you at full speed, stay off drugs.
Yeah. I remember back in the day when I was little, which was y'all were
in the 1900s.
Not even born. Back in the 1900s. I was playing Little League ball, and every year the mayor would come out to the opening ceremonies, and he would give this little talk, and he would always end with this same line. I'll never forget it. And if you're at least 40 years old or older, you will know what I'm talking about. And you grew up in Montgomery. Mayor Emery Falmer would always say, now, kids, I'd rather you steal second base than a bicycle. That's the world I grew up in.
That deterred crime
Yeah.
tremendously.
For kids, yeah. Nobody stole bikes.
Somebody was tempted to steal a bike, and they were like, "Oh wait,
Nobody stole anything back then. You could leave your door unlocked.
it was the '80s."
That was back when pedophiles were kind of just
Under the
creeping in.
radar.
Yeah, real.
They were still under the radar.
Yeah. I mean, they were there, but they were definitely under the radar.
So, what's the biggest threat to the church?
Oh yeah. Forgot about the question.
Apathy.
There we go.
I was
Say more.
He doesn't have to. He doesn't feel like it.
Apathy and apathy and diabetes. Apathy and diabetes.
diabetes.
I will ask this question. And it's kind of piggybacking off of
we need to
you.
explain what apathy is. What's apathy?
Is freedom the biggest threat to the church?
Freedom of
Because freedom
United States.
may breed apathy. That, where you see the church growing the most in the world is the persecuted church.
well,
And where you see awakening, right? Comfort. That's what I mean. Complacency, comfort that is fueled by a culture of. I go to church if I want to,
apathetic Christians.
just cultural Christianity or whatever that may be.
Yeah.
I'm not saying we shouldn't have the freedom of religion at all.
No.
But what I'm saying is it's easy when you live in that culture and when you live in that environment to just begin to when Christianity doesn't cost you anything.
Yeah.
So exactly what I was preaching on yesterday.
Yeah.
Parable on this. The rich young ruler.
Yeah.
Like, the more
Exactly.
I have, the harder it is to give it up.
Right. And I think what we have is comfort
Yeah.
and we have
We're all rich young rulers in
easy
the United
believism.
States. It's
and
tough.
Yeah.
as long as other things don't interfere with my Sunday, then that can belong to Jesus. But again, when your Christianity doesn't cost anything,
Yeah.
then you're going to treat it like it doesn't cost anything or that it didn't cost something. Apathy.
Yeah, but after your sermon in our small group, I asked a really, I don't know if this is too hardcore of a question, but I wanted to at least make them think,
Joseph
right?
was like, if there was a gun to your head right
Well,
now.
I said, I was leading the 9th and 10th grade group, and I asked them, it was kind of after we had gone through some of the questions, and I had to force them to talk and all that.
Sure.
But I asked them a question. I said, I really don't want you to answer this. I just want you to think. I said, if it was illegal for you to be in this room right now, would you be here right now? And they all just kind of paused. And they really were thinking deeply. And a couple of people actually responded with like head motions, and I got both answers from some people in the room, which I told them I appreciate y'all's honesty, but I really want you to reflect on that question, because like it's that, like you said, apathy, it all goes in, and the apathy comes from the comfort of our society. Like it's all wrapped in the same bag. I agree 100%.
Here's a good one for the students. If sharing Christ with your best friend will cost you your friendship,
Would you do it?
would you do it?
Yeah, but they actually brought that up in one of the questions. They said it was the question on what are some modern day American equivalents to like suffering or persecution, because we really don't. And one of them brought up the loss of relationships. And I was like, I appreciate that. So we got to talk about that for a little bit, like losing a friend. I pretty much said you should care about their soul and love them enough to be willing to lose them forever. And it's a hard thing though. And so, yeah, we had a good conversation, but I would agree with Matt. I think that's the biggest threat to the church. And I think it comes from because freedom's good. You know what I'm saying? It's just that if we abuse that freedom and go into apathy, I think apathy it's a root that leads to so many other problems.
Like
'Cause
diabetes.
Like diabetes. I mean, even you could say
Full circle.
another answer you could say would be like false teaching in the church.
We got
right?
shots for that,
Yeah.
man. It's
But
not a problem
apathy
anymore.
would be
That's true.
you're not addressing false teaching in
Right.
the church. Right? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like if the false teaching is not necessarily the problem. The false teaching exists because Christians in the churches are apathetic about what they're hearing. Right? And so like you can say, oh, false teaching is the worst thing. No, it's the apathy of the Christians who are sitting there letting their ears be tickled. Right? And so I think that answer underlies everything 100%. I really can't think of anything more than that.
Well, Jesus, I mean, that was one of the things that he came at some of the churches in the book of Revelation over. You're lukewarm.
Yep.
Or you have fallen asleep. I mean, that's and you think about the text we were in yesterday. I'm not trying to date this podcast because I know it won't be yesterday when it comes out, but Hebrews chapter 10, right? Remember what you did endure, and you need to be just as faithful now as you were then. Because it's easy to have those mountaintop experiences, and that passage was hard for me to work through because we have no frame of reference to joyfully accept the plundering of my property.
Yeah.
As an American man, no, you ain't coming. I'm gonna shoot my way out of here.
The DNA of America is, religious persecution led us to say, or led somebody to say, let's go over here and make a new country, or just live over here,
Right.
And escape that. Now, some of it was political, some of it was just you're not allowed to do what you do for money, but some of it was religious persecution. And, I think that's why you have some of those early settlers. So I think that being in our DNA.
Yeah. And I think religious freedom should be enjoyed by humanity. Mm-hmm. But should be and is are two different things.
Yeah.
And the reality is the majority of the world is persecuted, or majority of the church in the world is persecuted. And it's illegal. And that, again, I think, man, we live in such this country is, may fire people up for me. It's the greatest. It's a gift to be able to live here.
He's the best.
The church is the paradox too, because the same thing that you're talking about, like this country has given the American church the resources
Absolutely.
to send to all the other
Absolutely.
the world in a fashion that we've never seen.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so there is that paradox
There is.
that
Yeah.
we
With the International Mission Board, it's like the greatest international mission sending agency in the world. And it's only possible because we're in a place of religious freedom where we have that freedom to do it, and
but in a nation with the economic prosperity to give the money.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
exactly. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm proud to be an American. I am. But it comes with danger because it's like we don't know what suffering for our faith is.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I told the students, I said, y'all should be living in such a way as Christians, the opposite of apathy in your schools, that you ought to receive some suffering.
Yes.
Not that you seek it, but like Paul was clear.
Or
like if you follow in Jesus, you're going to suffer in some way, right? Today, for them, that would be losing a friend or getting mocked or made fun of, I said, y'all should live in such a way where that should be coming your way in some degree. And if it's not, reflect on that. Why is that not happening? And think about one thing you can do this week. You don't bear the burdens of every single issue. Think about just one way this week you can live out as a non-apathetic Christian, and then try to practice it, And so
the flip side of that, though, we're accountable to God. We live in a nation where we're not persecuted for our faith. And yet, as the church, we have been silent.
yeah.
And we've been apathetic. When you think about Christians in persecuted countries, staying faithful, living boldly, we're held to a higher standard because we don't have, of all people, we should be living boldly and faithfully because we're not being persecuted. And it saddens me to know, I've failed in my own life, in my own walk, and I'm going to be in heaven with a brother who's probably wearing scars from being beaten for his faith. And I can just imagine that conversation and him going, man, you don't know what you had. You don't know what you were blessed with.
When he asked you to tell me what you endured for the cross.
Yeah,
And you're like, well,
Yeah, man, I had to get up early on a Sunday morning. I couldn't go to the golf course. And he's sitting there because his family's been murdered.
yeah.
That's the accountability I think we forget. We live in the free country that God's blessed us with. What are you going to do with it? Where's that outro music, bro? That was like the...
Yeah.
Episode 5 in the books. We got questions just disappearing off the table.
Right and left.
Hey, the middle.
It's all right, though, because we will just go replenish it from questions.
The cup. Questions in the cup.
The random cup. If you see a random cup.
Just put a question in there. We've got Lonnie on staff who will go check every cup in the building.
That's right. Hey, y'all don't forget to connect with Man to Man on the Taylor Road app. Hit the connect button, scroll down to M2M, fill out the info sheet. You can also submit your questions on there for those listening, and get on the group chat to get updates on events and activities. See y'all next week.
Viewers.